Cool. Good day and welcome to a new video. Hey, so you've joined us for part 2 of Dolphorse, featuring a deviant artist named Synderen. She said, hey.
Hey!
So yeah, she's a great artist, who works on this page here, synderen.deviantart.com. But yeah, she's got some pretty cool work here. Yeah, they got some pretty
Thank
cool
you.
work. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about art and things like that today, while you watch the process. Cool, so can you tell me a bit about yourself? Synderen?
Well, so I guess, I usually go just by indie on the interwebs. It was just kind of a nickname that stuck when I first started online with my art. And I mostly stick with digital art. It's something that I tried a really long time ago, and, it just has all the colors at your disposal instead of having to buy, like, individual colors, I guess. And it's been fun to just experiment with that through the years. So, yeah, I like to draw pretty much everything, but usually in digital art.
Awesome, yeah. Yeah, that's quite an interesting concept. I was just thinking about that. I was doing, because I do color pencil a lot, I was doing a color pencil drawing of a duck at the moment, and I was thinking about that, like, I have a limited range of colors, so I've only have, the only 120 colors, and, that might seem like a lot, but compared to how many colors are available on, Photoshop or whatever digital program you use.
Yeah.
There's so many colors, and yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and so many effects, I feel like, because I remember one of my first favorite tools in Photoshop once I finally got it was the dodge tool, and I know that's like an infamous tool at this point, but the way it can interact with the different colors is just, it's really fun to play around with all those kinds of things. And traditional art has its own, like, quirks that make it interesting too, but I personally have yet to master that.
Yeah.
I'll probably stick with digital art for the meantime, but that's cool that you can do traditional art on top of that.
Yeah. So if anyone in the audience has questions, just put it in the live chat, and we'll get to the those questions if they come up. But yeah, so have you ever studied art anywhere, Indie?
Hmm. Um, Not really. I had art class that was required in high school, and I actually really hated it because I didn't like it when people told me what to draw. I really like to just draw dragons and cartoons and things like that. I know that's not it was a pretty bad mindset, and it was only later in high school that I realized, if I am really serious about getting better at art, then I should probably try to, do these exercises and whatnot. But by the time I finally realized that, I was done with the classes. So, but tutorials online are really helpful. The community in general is really good at motivating one to improve their work ethic, like taking commissions to, like, just, there's so many things about posting your work online that can really help you improve.
Yeah, yeah. It's so open. You don't get anything like this in other industries, really. Um, like
Yeah.
I saw when I was watching one streamer saying, there's no for lawyers, there's no forum about how to convict us. Um, so yeah, it's really good. And as artists, in the old days, I always thought that everyone wants to hide their secrets. Um, but I feel like no artist is hiding their secrets in a way. They're not. They don't. Most of them, I know, don't mind sharing what they have. Um,
Yeah.
I think that it comes down
To an extent, yeah.
yeah, to you need to put in the effort. So even if you share tips and tricks, you need to put in the effort and the time to really make those work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
See, how do you decide on what to paint?
In general, for
Yeah.
just for art on DeviantArt. So I usually there's three main categories. It's either personal art, a commission, or a gift for someone. So it's just one of those three things, I guess. So personal art for me tends to be just art of my own characters. Gifts are when I'm really passionate about someone else's characters. And then commissions, it's just oh, okay, someone's paying me to do this. And it's each one of them has something different in it, I think, that makes it enjoyable to work on. Because usually, even in commissions where it might seem at first, oh, that kind of stinks that someone's giving me quite a few restrictions on what I can draw, it's usually also forcing you to do something new, which I wouldn't usually attempt in personal art or a gift for someone else. So I do like to have a healthy amount of each of those three types of paintings. And I think that's just a way to keep, to enjoy what you're doing and to improve at the same time.
Oh yeah. The thing is to always keep drawing and painting. Yeah, how do you keep yourself motivated to keep working on things?
I don't know. I just really enjoy drawing. I guess that's just what it comes down to. I never wanted art to be my sole, the only thing I have to depend on for a living, because I never wanted art to be something that I would eventually associate with, oh, I just have to get this done because I have to, or else I'm just gonna be really in a bad position in life, starving artist. I don't know. It's because I do burn out pretty quickly too, so I never wanted it to get to a burnout point and then keep going past a burnout point for any reason, because I do, and I still, even though there have been a couple bumps in my road with art, that I still do really enjoy it, and I really like seeing a picture come to life. It's exciting. What about you?
Yeah, I just really love working, but on art and things. But I always, there's a time when I want to be doing something else, I want to be playing a game or just doing something else other than art. Um,
Mhm.
but what I think what really motivates me is, my passion and trying to get something right. I always try and challenge myself to new things.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's trying to paint that pretty picture and create something that I haven't before. Um, Making the end great and having that feedback too. I really
Yeah.
um, enjoy posting a piece and then having people react quite good and taking it to fairs and conventions and things and um, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely the getting feed another exciting part of art, I guess too.
And yeah, another thing is
Like
seeing
to see.
to see.
Sorry, what? You can continue.
No, you can keep on going.
I forgot what I was going to say. That's funny. There's like this lag,
Yeah,
and I couldn't tell if you were pausing or letting me try to continue.
yeah. I was trying to let you continue. Um, but yeah, so this kind of close to the topic. Who inspires you and what inspires you?
Oh boy, that's a big question. Um, because I feel like, and just in any kind of art or just in life in general, you're inspired by big things and little things all along your path, and it'll just keep pushing you in one direction, and then you'll be nudged in another direction. And even though it might be a small nudge, it might be taking you in a completely different direction as more time goes on. And I guess some of my biggest art inspirations, at least, have been, I'll just say their usernames. There's one named Commissions by Jay, and her art I had stumbled across when I was just in this giant rut and I hadn't drawn for pretty much 2 years. And this, I was trying to find how to enjoy art again, I guess, is a good way to put it. Because I hadn't figured out how to enjoy it in so long. And after seeing someone's art who just made me so, like, it was just it was a style that just resonated so much with me that I really just, once I saw it, I wanted to just start drawing again. I wish I could like bring up some art, but because they are a really fantastic artist, and while as like I'm not continuously going to them for inspiration anymore, I still appreciate a lot how it was just it was this person who got me on my feet again, even though they probably had no idea that it meant a lot for me to see that at that point. And then a couple other artists, and just people who you can tell they just put a lot of heart and soul in what they do, that they love what they're drawing. They're not super influenced by what they think they should be inspired by, if that makes sense. I really enjoy people who just genuinely enjoy what they draw, and I think that's just the major thing that I strive for in my own art, is to love what I draw and to make a style. I guess in enjoying what I draw, it also gives an effect that other people will enjoy seeing it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you gotta make it enjoyable, otherwise
Yeah.
then you get sick of it and then you end up just playing games all day. Um, so it's you kind of, yeah, you have to
Mhm.
enjoy it to make it
Yeah.
Yeah. I always try and make something enjoyable as well, like
Yeah.
when I did the Pug series, um which I'm thinking of continuing eventually. It's on my list. I've got many things, many projects that I want to do. Um yeah, I wanted to make it enjoyable. I wanted to make an image that would make people laugh, um or they would be inspired by, or really love on their wall, something like that. And yeah, I just have
Hmm.
fun. I had fun putting these pugs in suits and things, so I could have maybe I might do
That sounds great.
a Captain America pug. I think something that I got inspired by there was this artist who I think he's called Sticks 4 or something. He does like owls in
Hmm.
different Avengers outfits and things like that. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, like yeah. But yeah. So I'll go into my next question. Um, how did you feel when you got a daily deviantation?
Oh, okay. So actually, I had an account before Synderen. It was called. Actually, I've had two accounts on DeviantArt now. The first one wasn't for very long, but the second one is called Indui, and it's where I had my first daily deviation,
Oh,
or whatever. I forget what it's called,
yeah.
but it was in 2008, and I remember I was at my friend's house, and it was New Year's Day, and I checked my phone, and I was like, oh my gosh, why do I have messages? And then I realized I had a daily deviation, and I wanted to cry because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I've always wanted to have one. And it was really humbling. I had no, like, it was, when I first started, at least, it was kind of, it eventually became one of my goals. I was like, I hope that, like, as I was drawing each piece, I would be like, oh, I hope this is good enough to get a daily deviation. And even if it didn't happen, it would just be like, oh, at least I'm reaching a standard in my art that I would be proud enough that if it were chosen, that would be like I wouldn't be like cringing like, oh my god, why would that ever happen? But it would be like, oh, that's so cool. I'm glad that people enjoy it enough that um it would be chosen, like, yeah. So that was really exciting, I guess. And then I got a couple more, and it still is really, it's the same amount of humbling and exciting each time. Like, it's I really appreciate DeviantArt in taking an opportunity to do that, to feature artists, if only for one day, because it really helps artists get discovered. It helps um, artists feel appreciated. And it helps artists feel motivated too, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. I would love a daily deviation one day. Um, and that's the thing is, it does motivate you as well because you want that level of art. Um, yeah. Um,
Yeah,
and that
for
goes
sure.
with this question. So how do you approach each piece? You did talk about like the three different pieces you do have, but maybe your personal
Hmm.
work, or yeah, talk about your personal work a bit more. But how do you approach a piece?
So, like, usually first I have to be inspired for when I'm doing personal art, at least. I Whenever I'm going to make something for myself, I don't want to force it. I usually wait for an idea to come. Commissions, I don't really have a choice, but that's okay. I feel like there's something different. There's a different vibe in each one, and I think that's a good variety that one should have in their gallery or in their portfolio or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But for personal art, yeah, I like to start with an inspiration, and then, of course, you go through the sketches, you go through like sketches including the colors. I usually am super excited to get to the colors as soon as possible, so um,
Yeah.
that's pretty much like the second step that I do.
Mm.
And then I have really thin line art. I like to keep it really refined, even though I've been noticing I do kind of like sketchy styles too. So, but yeah, it's pretty much the same process as most, like 90% of digital artists, I'm pretty sure. I think it's just how everyone learned how to get to where they are, that there's these different nuances that really did.
Oh, cutting out.
Hmm?
It's all good. Um, I think cut out a little bit there, but it's okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, I still hear you.
Cool. Um, yeah. So yeah, this Dolphorse here took me a while, and yeah, it's an interesting process that you go through with each piece. With
Hmm.
this is more learning because it's a schoolism course I'm doing at the moment, which is it's a great.
Oh, you're doing schoolism?
Mm, yeah, that's a
I heard
cool.
about that.
It's a great way to learn, really, because you can do it in your own time, and it's a cup of coffee a week it costs about. Um, so it's pretty
Yeah,
good. Um,
that's really cool. I had it bookmarked in when it first came out. I still haven't gotten around to looking at it more seriously, but it's really cool that it's a thing.
yeah, yeah, it's and you learn from like the top artists, as well of that kind of
Hmm.
industry of that field. Um, and there's a wide range of things to
Hmm.
learn. I love to do all the courses because I just like to learn. So, and that's the thing about artists. You're a student.
Hmm.
You're a student for life. Not just for 5 years. So,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
always something new to learn. Like at the moment, I'm doing both doing animal structures and animal creature creation and things like that, and going over more anatomy stuff as well. Um, yeah, so I got a few projects going on. Um, you talked about
That's cool.
doing commissions and things, and I was curious, like, how do you keep both your clients happy, and how do you keep up with if they give you deadlines? How do you keep up with it?
Hmm. So, hmm. I started like for serious taking commissions about 2 years ago, on Fur Affinity, and I knew from experience because I had tried to take them on DeviantArt before, a long, long time ago, and I had found out very quickly that taking a lot of slots at once was just super overwhelming. So I usually just take a couple slots at a time, like two or three tops, and I like to get those completely done, completely out of the way before I open more. And I feel like when you have shorter queues like that, it helps you stay less overwhelmed, and it helps the customers feel like there's actually an end in view, because when you take like 10 slots at once and it takes like a month to finish each slot, then people are gonna start being like, I know, like, I
Mm.
understand that I have a place on the queue and I understand that it takes a while to finish, but it still feels like it's taking a while. Like, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
So
it does.
even if, like, yeah, so I like, that's the main thing that I've been going with lately.
Yeah,
And I try to, like, keeping it a small list, and then I'm able to keep in close contact with those clients, and no one feels out of the loop.
yeah. It's better to have a couple of clients, for say the month, than to have heaps of
Hmm.
clients for the whole year, because you get more clients every month as well.
Yeah,
More commissions.
for, yeah, for sure.
Um, do you feel like any other skills that you have learnt transfer into your art, or any other knowledge?
Sorry, it broke up for a minute and I missed the question.
Okay. Um, so do you feel any of your other skills that you have learnt, um, or knowledge transfers into your art?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. Because it was, um, as I had mentioned before, that there will be lots of little things through your life that will nudge you in one way or another. And I went to school in something in the polar opposite of art, and I feel like having something so different, like just keeping your mind open to as many new things as possible is going to help your art stay open too. And um, like you start to notice a lot more things about the world around you the more you learn about the world around you. And not just in one perspective, like not in just an art perspective, but maybe in like not just a painting perspective, but like a musical perspective or a mathematical perspective, like all those different kinds.
Yeah, I feel like everything you learn really can help in a way. I've known
Yeah,
here,
for sure.
for this course here, the Terrell Whitlatch, she started out in doing like Scientology and animal anatomy and things like that. So that
Hmm.
really, all that knowledge really brought into what she did later in life. And there's
Hmm.
other artists. There's one that did who took history, and that kind of helped him to create weapons and things because he had the knowledge on like
Uh,
history of weaponry, um, and people and things like that. So
yeah, that's cool.
yeah, everything you learn gives you that uniqueness as well.
Hmm.
Um,
Totally.
yeah. How do you feel about fan art versus original art?
Oh boy. I remember I used to despise fan art because I was like, hmm, I didn't understand why it would be. I guess it's kind of a hard question to answer because, like, my past view about it is very different from how I feel about it now. But how
Mm,
I feel about it now, at least, is I understand why it gets a lot more attention, and I understand why people can be pretty salty about why it gets a lot more attention, and just all these. I can see why there's all these different perspectives about it, and it got to the point that I just don't really mind it anymore. There's a lot of things that after you spend long enough or like I don't know, long enough around it, you just kind of accept it as it'll just always be that way, and it doesn't really impact you directly.
yeah, it's an interesting field. I think the thing with original art, it really shows your ideas, um, how you
Hmm.
think. Whereas fan art can, I feel like fan art just shows kind of your take and your style, in a way. Um,
Yeah, that's a good point.
hmm. And I mean, I used to do a bit of fan art. I think now looking back at it, I feel like I was just doing it to copy word for word and get more of a learning thing for me. Um, yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, it's definitely a. I think a lot of it's the starting place for most artists, like copying Pokemon or your favorite show characters from that, that kind of thing.
I feel like nearly every artist has done it. In their lifetime.
Yeah.
I think you kind of need to anyway, because like um, you need to draw something that you love or yeah, are a fan of.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree.
so yeah, I was saying I was doing traditional art before, so I've done quite a few mediums. Mostly just to play around. I haven't really stuck.
Hmm.
Like I've done watercolor once, and I thought it was great. I'd love to go back and do watercolor again. Um, Maybe later in life, for um, when I get less busy or need to do
Hmm.
it for a client or something. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
have you ever tried any other mediums other than digital art?
Yeah, I've actually tried watercolor too, and I really enjoyed it too. I think, I mean, when I was taking that art class in high school, they had us use like charcoal, acrylic paint, lots of different types of graphite, and my favorite is watercolor still. I really like the effect that it has. It feels really natural, but also really controlled, I guess. And it's pretty. I like water.
Yeah, it's fun. Um, but yeah,
It is.
it's just nerve-wracking because you can destroy a piece quite quickly. Um, if
Yeah.
yeah, if you don't with traditional, if you don't take your time, and really think about it, um, more with digital art, you don't have to think about it as much. You still do, but
Yeah.
if you make that mistake, it's real easy to just rejitter it, use the lasso tool or whatever, and chop and change whatever you would like.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
Yep. I
what
do miss the undo button in traditional art.
um, which I think is kind of a thing that helps me um, when I'm going from traditional to digital. Um, yeah, because I'm really locked down on that traditional look. Locked down a drawing. I don't like chopping and changing my drawing too much. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, always I just redraw it, redo it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um.
Yeah. Traditional art is hard.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you deal with taking critiques?
I really enjoy critiques. I do not get very many. I should probably state at some point, like, oh, I'm open for critiques, because I think that might be a reason, because I know there are a lot of artists who don't respond, who are just aren't ready for critiques, I guess. Like,
Mm.
not in a bad way, but if you're at a point in your style that you're just feeling really, you're just feeling really self-conscious, fragile, I guess, then getting a critique it wouldn't be helpful at all. But I guess I would really love critiques. I should. Thanks for reminding me for opening them at some point. What about you?
Yeah, it's a hard thing because well, at the moment, because I'm doing personal work, if I was client, it may be a bit different. I can get a bit like defensive in my work because
Mm-hmm.
it's my work and I'm liking it, I'm loving it. So I
Mm-hmm.
do take note of what they've said. Um, but yeah, it's different with the two categories, with the client work versus the um, my artwork. I don't usually get my art critiqued, but every now and again I do go seek out some critique from people, and it's just finding
Mm-hmm.
the right people. Because I tried conceptart.org, that was big in its day. It's still relatively biggish. It's not the biggest site in the world. Um, but the advice I got there
Mm-hmm.
was pretty much like it was like, here, look at my piece, and then they were like, oh, look, you need to do more anatomy and all this stuff. I understand that, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just I want that piece to be critiqued. I want to improve that piece. Yeah, so I take it in different ways. One of my tutors, I remember,
What's
yeah,
Oh, I was just gonna say, what's the site called again?
conceptart.org.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yes, I have heard of that.
It's just like a forum site where you
Okay, and
can.
then sorry, you can continue.
But yeah, one of my
Yeah.
tutors was saying basically, um, you have to take the critique in mind and then maybe step away from your work, or go for a coffee, or keep working on it. It's up to the person, but take your critiques in mind and
Mm-hmm.
then decide what's working and what's not, and then go from what you think will work. You can't always say that Joe over here says put a hat on him. You can't go and put a hat on. You can put a hat on him, but it may not work. It's your decision in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I got from conference was that if someone says that this is wrong, that is wrong, it's not exactly that. Like, say for this one, someone said, "Oh, look, the tail's wrong," blah blah blah. It's not always that the tail is wrong. There's like, I could change the tail, give it back to the client, and the client maybe, oh, now put the tail a bit bigger, and then it'll just be a um, iterative process from there. Um, yeah, it's like, now I've lost my thought. But yeah,
Yeah, I think I see what you mean though.
it's not always that thing that's wrong, but there is something wrong in the image, but it doesn't mean it's put a hat on him, kind of thing. Yeah, so
Yeah,
we're getting
for sure.
to the end of the video here. Um, no other questions come up, which is all good. Um, I'm getting to the end of my questions though. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
but yeah, do you have any questions?
Hmm. You definitely went through the major ones, I feel.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's only got a couple more minutes anyway, so I'll probably end it on this last question. So what advice would you give to other artists to help them grow?
Mm, hmm. Just find I know it's pretty generic, but I do feel like finding what you love to draw is the most important thing. And that might actually end up taking a while to figure out exactly what style it is that you enjoy, but just keep working on finding that place. And it almost, actually, this might sound like it's the opposite of advice, but I feel like there's never going to be an end. You're just going to keep finding things that you enjoy, and it's going to keep influencing your style, and just don't get discouraged by feeling like you'll never be good enough, because I feel like it's not good enough. It's just that you keep finding ways to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was something that was important for me.
Yeah, it's you just have to knuckle down.
What about you?
Yeah, just knuckle down. Keep drawing. Don't stop it. Yeah, and always learn from others and your mistakes. There should never be a point in your career where you stop learning, or you stop improving, because there's always something to improve on. I always jump into something different, like I did character design, and I'm mainly doing now I'm doing creature and character design, learning stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much our wrap up. So thanks for joining me, Indy.
Thank you.
So yeah, just like, share, subscribe, and whatnot. You can find Indy's DeviantArt down in the description, and I'm sure you can Google the other references you talked about. But yeah, cool. Thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you on the next streams.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.